Thanks everybody for joining us. We've been away for a couple of weeks. Lots of building going on in the background, so lots of exciting stuff to kind of catch up on and talk about. I can kick it off right now just by mentioning something that everybody might be aware of, but we just had our first sort of successful merchandise NFT launch go live about an hour ago. For those listening, some transactions, of course, as you know, with these things don't go through. So there may be limited stock left if everybody wants to check back. But essentially, we initially sold out the entire stock, I think within a minute or two. So really exciting stuff and really excited to kind of work to bring the larger boost, I guess, strategy to life with the help of the community. We released some info for discussion around that just prior to the launch. So that's up on Twitter for anybody who's interested. But with that, I'll hand it over to you, Frog, to kind of kick us off. Maybe there's some governance updates or just updates in general you had in mind.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good. And yeah, really great work on that. The NFT drop, the jerseys. I was shocked that they sold out so quickly. I thought it was at least going to be like 10 minutes, but from what I heard from the other team members, the jerseys sold out in 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, it was super quick. We had more than the amount sort of in the store at launch. And yeah, we were basically at the point nobody could get any within I think just under a minute, 30-second mark. So really exciting. Glad to see everybody's response to that, and excited to do more of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, can't wait till we have the next one come out. Yeah, so let's maybe work backwards because we haven't had these sessions in a couple of weeks. So, first the jersey launch. Next, like relevant topic to that is that we just posted on the forum a general thread for discussing how we might design the Badger Boost, and we've provided some of the initial discussions that the core team has had in terms of how we might structure that. Including all the NFTs from the original meme honeypot with Badger, the second honeypot with Dig. But ultimately, we came up with a few designs, but we thought it really made sense to get feedback from the community to help fine tune it before we finalize the actual structure. So feel free to hop into the forum and drop some comments, take a look at the thread, and see where we're at in terms of the Badger Boost. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting way of really gamifying the NFTs and adding utility to how Badgers can increase their returns on their farms with NFTs. So working backwards from there, right before the jersey drop yesterday, we also dropped the news that we have a partnership with Fireblocks. Most retail DeFi users aren't super aware of Fireblocks, but they're actually one of the number one infrastructure providers for institutional crypto custody and settlement. So, the intention there is to further grow that partnership and eventually, onboard as much institutional Bitcoin into DeFi as possible. And with Fireblocks' reputation, with their 200 plus institutional clients, and with their 400 billion plus cryptocurrency in custody, we're super excited for the potential of what that partnership might bring. Working another step back, just last week, actually no, it was this week, just a couple days ago, we had the BIP 50 for zero confirmation pass on snapshot. Basically, for those that aren't super aware of what zero confirmation does, zero confirmation was a protocol, or is a protocol, that John Toe and Mitch 50 had been working on for several months, if not years, prior to joining Badger. And the context there is that as we all joined on as early contributors for Badger, and Badger started ramping up. John and Mitch put Zero Confirmation kind of on the back burner to focus on Badger, given the urgency and high priority of how quickly Badger was growing. But the technology, for the most part, to my understanding, has already mostly been built out for Zero Confirmation. So that's the context in terms of like a summary of what Zero Confirmation does. Basically, for those that have used Ren projects, Ren Bridge, powered by Ren VM or Ren Virtual Machine, basically Ren VM allows for the transfer of liquidity and assets from one blockchain to another by a decentralized custody model where, for example, I'll use Ren Bitcoin. When you send Bitcoin to Ren VM, it distributes distributes the Bitcoin across the network of dark nodes which make up Ren VM. And once the 6 confirmations from the Bitcoin network are completed, users can mint Ren Bitcoin, which is the ERC20 variant one-to-one representation of Bitcoin onto Ethereum. But that's those 6 confirmations, and something that a lot of Badgers will see once we launch the Badger Bridge. Those 6 confirmations can take up to 1 hour, because each confirmation is roughly 10 minutes. But what Zero Confirmation does is basically their model is that they've created a liquidity pool of Ren Bitcoin and basically take on the risk of double spend by allowing for users to deposit Bitcoin and mint Ren Bitcoin in a fraction of the time that it typically takes with Ren VM. So basically, it exponentially improves the user experience for people that want to bring Bitcoin onto DeFi. So it's completely aligned with what Badger's mission is, and completely aligned with what what we're striving for in terms of making sure that we're creating the best user experience, creating the highest value for Badgers as they bring additional Bitcoin to DeFi. So that, you can see the deal terms and more information on the protocol on the forum. But that's basically the high-level summary of that Zero Confirmation BIP number 50. Before that, we have the BIP 48 that passed, which is the Treasury USDC productivity. Mason spent time coming up with different tranches of how we might put our Treasury to work to earn yield and basically have another form of revenue for the DAO. In addition to that, there should be new information coming out in the next few days about the Ape Squad, which is basically folks that we've sourced from the community. Many farmers that are known on Twitter for how we might best utilize tranche C, which is the highest risk tranche. So basically, having a good source of reliable folks in the community that keep up to date every day, basically hour to hour, on new projects that are popping up, new farms that are popping up, and how we might have the highest risk, highest return for the smallest allocation of the treasury. Then before that, and feel free to pause me. I feel like I'm rambling since we only have one speaker today.
Frog, can you hear me okay now?
Oh yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, great. Sorry guys, got stuck in some bad signal areas.
No worries.
Frog, no, I think it's great to go through the BIP, so that's important. And then I think in general, just to give an overview of kind of like the product side of things, have we gone through that yet or no?
So I started off with the Jersey, went to Fireblocks, then Zero Confirmation, then USDC productivity. The last point was going to be about Dig, and then I was going to shift over to products that are in build right now.
Okay, rock and roll with Dig then. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, guys, but as of right now, no more jerseys left. 200 are gone, never to be made again.
Oh, wow.
All gone. So thanks for everybody who participated, and some of those who got lucky with sort of going back into stock, but really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so the last point I wanted to make was just BIP 47, which was the BIP that John had made to allocate dig for the meme honeypot round 2, which is actually still going. Last I checked, we had maybe 4 or 5 NFTs that were redeemed for part of the honeypot. But basically, with the launch of the Badger Arcade, we're adding additional utility and additional basically gamification for how people can use dig. And as I mentioned earlier, with the forum post in general right now, we're discussing how to best utilize these NFTs for future APY boosts. So again, feel free to jump into the forum and add to the discussion. Chris, you want to chat a bit about products?
Yeah, totally. So just in general, we've been obviously busting our tails over the last couple months, kind of getting ready for, Badger round 2, I like to call it, right? We went to market, we launched a bunch of vaults, we were able to capture quite a bit of, the tokenized Bitcoin that exists on Ethereum. We had an opportunity to explore cross-chain initiatives, and now it's really time to continue innovating on the products that we're bringing to market for those vaults, and as well just creating more utility for the vault depositors. So what I'm really excited about, what's up next, is the first single asset vault for Badger, which is the WBTC vault. And this vault, based on a lot of the tests that we've done and working closely with the Yearn team, since their strategist developed it, and the Yearn team is going to be managing the security of the vault along with our team. But what makes me most excited about that, it is going to have the highest organic APY out of any WBTC vault on the market today, which is close to almost 20%. And then of course we're going to have Badger and Dig rewards on top. So in essence, it'll be that much easier for users to come with Bitcoin rather than having to go to Curve First or Sushi or Uniswap or all these different places and deposit Bitcoin into Badger. And I feel relatively confident that we'll be able to capture quite a significant amount of TVL because it will be the highest APY WBTC vault on Ethereum. And it's going to be that first real push into what an experience could look like for a lot of non-heavy DeFi users, because it's going to tie directly into the bridge. So as we launch the WBTC vault, we're going to have that capped for a couple weeks just to manage from a security perspective, and then we're going to launch the bridge. And with the bridge, you'll be able to go from native Bitcoin into
We lost you, Chris. Basically, with I can I can complete that thought, but basically, is it just me that can't hear Chris or William?
Nope, he cut out for me too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so with the Badger Bridge, basically 3 weeks ago when we were on the call, I had mentioned that we were going through final testing. We actually decided to hold off on launch to basically coincide with this Yearn WBTC vault and add additional utility to the bridge by allowing Badgers to directly mint and earn with their native Bitcoin. So basically the flow is you deposit your native Bitcoin into RenVM via the Badger bridge. You mint Ren Bitcoin. It swaps that Ren Bitcoin for wrapped Bitcoin, and then it deposits that wrapped Bitcoin into the Yearn Badger WBTC vault. And that's all done with basically one click. It's all meant to have the greatest user experience for folks, and it's actually one of the first, if not the first, one click mint and earn Bitcoin product on the market. There's products like Curve, but there's actually multiple steps. We've decided to take the extra time to increase that user experience and increase that utility for our Badgers, and ultimately make it easier for new DeFi users to come into the space. Chris, do we have you back?
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, that's better.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, you hit it on the head. And as we prepare for launch for the bridge, we're also going to be turning on one of our Curve vaults as the ability to mint and earn as well. And we're just going to continually kind of do that, right? Where we're going to add additional features. You're going to be able to go from Bitcoin into any of our vaults. And obviously our vaults have different APYs, so you can choose which vault makes the most sense. When we launch interest-bearing Bitcoin, you know, we'll have the functionality to go from native Bitcoin into interest-bearing Bitcoin again in one click. And that's what, you know, what I was speaking to before I was cut off, which is this idea of yes, it's a first for even like the heavy DeFi user space, but it's really about capturing and preparing for, you know, just the normal Bitcoin holder, or just a normal individual that wants to get into Bitcoin and wants to start, you know, putting it to work. And once you add, you know, some of the features from the zero confirmation protocol, where users can go from native Bitcoin into earning within a couple minutes, all of a sudden that's a way different experience, and it could really help attract a lot of those retail users. So I'm super excited about it. I think the team's excited about it. I think it's going to do a lot for driving additional TVL to the protocol. And then finally, it lends itself very nicely to the launch of interest-bearing Bitcoin. And when you think about all these three products together, it gives you a clear picture of, you know, what we've been working on and why it's important for the progress of the protocol. But interest-bearing Bitcoin, as we prepare to launch that in the next few weeks, it'll be the first, you know, interest-bearing Bitcoin on the market. But users will be able to go from the bridge into the vault. So be able to use any of our Curve vaults and the WBTC vault as collateral to mint interest-bearing Bitcoin. You could then LP it, because we're going to have an interest-bearing Bitcoin and WBTC vault that's tied to Sushi, and then potentially Curve after, to earn additional rewards. And then subsequently, we'll just continue to add new features to interest-bearing Bitcoin, different collateral that you can use to mint that interest-bearing Bitcoin, the ability to bring that interest-bearing Bitcoin to our BSC vaults, our Binance Smart Chain vaults, you know, further getting interest-bearing Bitcoin integrated with a lot of the partners that we're already working with, like, you know, the Fireblocks and Cream and Unit, and, you know, a lot of partners on BSC that are coming up. So it's it ties very nicely into the whole product suite, and it makes it very complementary, because I've said this quite a few times in the past, but it's important for us to build a level of utility for those vault deposits, so that the vault depositors are not encouraged to leave if the APY goes a little lower, because there is that additional utility. So it creates that stickiness with the capital. So we're not always fighting with, hey, there's a new vault from a new protocol that has 1,000,000,000% APY, and users are just going to pull away from Badger to go there and farm that. Where they have the trust, they have the reliability from a security perspective from Badger, and they have this additional utility that you really can't get anywhere else. So we're going to continue to push our vault tokens as collateral, both within Badger and in different protocols as well. So that's really what's on deck from a product perspective, and it's just really about focusing on the vault product, focusing on Dig, of course, as the stability vault's finishing up some audits, and introducing some of these additional utility and bridging products. So that's what's on deck. Anything you guys would want to add there, Frog or Will?
No, I think you covered most of it. I think at the end of the day, everything that we've been working towards, everything that we've designed as a team, we've been really thinking about the Badgers that we have currently and the future Badgers to come, and basically creating this suite of products that, you know, optimize yield, optimize user experience, ultimately creates, you know, this like ecosystem of products that allow users to do basically everything they should need and want to do in the DeFi space, all in one place. You know, I remember back in December, you would always hone in on this message of one-stop shop for Bitcoin on DeFi, and it's awesome to see this all come to fruition.
Yeah, coming to fruition is important, right? But on top of that, it's also about keeping our core focus on the best and most trusted place to earn yield on your Bitcoin, right? Like that's a focus that still needs to be there. So the products that we're launching in this one-stop shop, they all need to be complementary to one another, right? They all need to help one another, rather than, you know, just being kind of random different products, let's call it, that are all, yes, Bitcoin focused, but in turn, like, you have the bridge, so it's easier to bring it over to Ethereum. You have the ability to earn yield on that. You then have the ability to mint an asset that's then composable and usable throughout the ecosystem, so you don't lose out on your yield. And then eventually all these additional products are going to speak specifically to how those things are optimized, right? So
yeah, a lot of exciting stuff on the way, just around the corner.
indeed. Another thing, because a few people have asked, but we've completed our third audit with QuantStamp. They did an audit of our entire system, and it took longer than expected, but it all came back with no critical risks, no real vulnerabilities. There's a couple optimizations that we can make, but nothing even in the mid critical, or excuse me, the mid category in terms of issues. So once we clean up some of those things, we'll release that report publicly, and then we're going to continue working with them on a monthly basis to just almost have this revolving audit practice from an external party to complement our internal auditing practices. So important to share. We're grateful to have a group like them to help us out on a continuous basis. And one of the things, guys, that I wanted to just ask is, I'd love to hear more. So just to kind of shift gears, I'd love to hear more stories from the community, of course, any questions and all that type of stuff. But the last town hall that we did, we had quite a few Badgers come up and share how they got into Badger, what was their first experience, what they like to see, and really like their Badger story. I thought that was really great conversation. So we of course can continue that today and then field any questions. So if anybody wants to join up and come say hello and just chit chat and share some of those stories, feel free.
Yep, feel free to raise your hand and we'll bring you up, guys.
Hey guys, this is
Hey, how's it
Weezer.
going, Wesik?
How's everyone doing? All good stuff. Excited to hear. First time Clubhouse experience, so glad I can talk a little. Two things I was just going to say in terms of experience. I joined Badger immediately after the dig drop, and I got in it purely from Yearn. So I think my experience was totally been in crypto and just essentially buying lows and selling highs for the last 3-4 years when it came to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then the more I saw what Badger was trying to do, I was just like, I kind of went all in, and it's been a really fun experience since then. Having said that, I just had one question, and this, I don't know if this applies now or not, but back to what you said, Chris, in terms of like, kind of one mission here and bringing Bitcoin and making sure product and everything is differentiated in a meaningful way. Really excited about the whole IBTC index and the Badger Bridge. Has there been any thought or consideration in terms of like instead of like a fully collateralized index, maybe like a partially collateralized one that could layer in dig as well? Obviously, it's a little bit more risk, but I think the cool part about it was that just the opportunity cost there in terms of like being able to help peg or help peg dig, but also have a layered product that's not totally one-to-one, but maybe like 4 parts BTC 1-to-1 and 1 part in synthetic, and then have like a cool product that could also go well with this too.
Yeah, we've talked quite a bit about that actually, and I think it's a great idea. Really, the intention was, let's get dig into a stable state, right? Like that's priority number one. And once we can get it there on a more consistent basis, which we hope to do with the stability vault. And I don't know how much you've dug into the stability vault or some of the things that we've shared about it, but in essence, what it is we're going to have different parameters where we can sell, pretty much do what the token structure and the token mechanics are meant to do, which is sell when it's above peg and buy when it's below peg, right? And by doing that consistently and doing that in an automated fashion, we intend to be able to really shift the market and dig as a whole, because most of it's going to be anyone that's deposited in the dig vault, the standard dig vault today, which represents quite a bit of the market cap. I think about 45% of the market cap today for dig lives in that dig vault. So if that vault's the vault that's then taking those actions, buying below, using WBTC reserves, those reserves came from selling above and using some of the rewards to sell for WBTC reserves, we think that it can be have a major impact on stability. And even if it's not like absolutely perfect, but it's relatively close and it doesn't see such major swings as we're seeing today, we most certainly can then start looking at how do we leverage it inside of interest-bearing Bitcoin and do different things around using that as part of the collateral. And then coupled to that, because I agree with you, having it as collateral within the Badger ecosystem and outside of the Badger ecosystem helps with stability in general. So most certainly that's a top priority, and talking to different partners to have BDIG listed on their that's obviously a top priority as well.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. I'll let anybody else talk. I don't want to take up all the time, but appreciate the answer and enjoying my first Clubhouse here. So thanks, everyone.
Wicked.
Anybody else want to come up and chat? Curious to
Yeah, come say hello.
Yeah. See how your Friday's going. Did you participate in the drop? Experience as a Badger. Yeah, come chat.
Well, if no one's interested in joining, do we want to wrap about anything that's been top of mind, guys, that we've been thinking about internally, or what do you think? Anything that comes to mind, Frog?
I guess one thing we haven't touched on is this is the first month that the grants program is taking purview over the monthly grants, which is the main reason why it's about a week late. It's part of the growing pains of going from December, January, February, the process of how we put up monthly grants to trying to create additional structure and standardization around the grants process. So that's just a side update, and that should be coming out in the next day or two. So keep a lookout for that as well. But other than that, I think we covered almost everything. We covered a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about over the past 3 weeks and caught up on a lot of the developments. Looks like we have some folks coming up though.
Cool.
Yeah, hi guys.
There she is, Anna. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Chris? All good. Enjoying the I think it's the second day in May, right, that you guys had. And gutted I missed out on the t-shirt.
It wasn't
question.
just a t-shirt, okay, Anna? It was a jersey, number one. Okay?
God. I stand corrected. Okay, quick question, guys. You said you just announced partnership with Fireblocks. Congrats on that. Are you going to be, how are you thinking about, bringing non-crypto native capital onto Badger? And what's the overall strategy there? Are you going to be partnering with more custodians? Or are you going to be doing direct outreach? What are your thoughts?
Chris, you're a little choppy right now.
Side.
This is Chris in 8-bit. Chris, yeah, you're just a little choppy.
now or no?
Not quite. Still can't hear you, bud.
Can you all hear me okay now?
There you go. Yeah.
Good. Sorry. So just to leave where I left, or go to where I left off, and in general, I think, you know, the biggest capital into DeFi in the next wave is going to be from institutional or more traditional crypto companies. So, you know, a lot of the conversations that we've had have been around like, hey, you know, we'd love to, but we just, like, from an operational and from a regulatory standpoint and from a security standpoint, like, we're really not prepared to do so, right? Our compliance team, our legal team, and our operations team, like, they're really not set up to interact with permissionless protocols and participate in DeFi. So with Fireblocks in particular, they can, you know, maintain those specific requirements and still have the opportunity to participate and also hold the Badger assets. So those that was kind of like an immediate way to start addressing what we believe to be a big opportunity, because, you know, the major cryptocurrency, I think we can all agree that institutions hold and they're going to be holding for long-term exposure, is going to be Bitcoin, not a, you know, a random altcoin that has a 1 billion% APY in DeFi. So for us to target that market, like, that could potentially bring 5, 10, 15, $50 billion worth of TBL to the Badger protocol. So to start in this way is a great, you know, kickstart. And then from there, we want to further build it, you know, further build the infrastructure and product and security practices to make sure that, you know, these institutions are comfortable interacting through our partners and touching our protocol. But in the end of the day, you know, Badger is a set of open smart contracts. So really anybody can build on it. And we hope to see hundreds, if not thousands, of centralized businesses, you know, using our smart contracts to provide, you know, the best yield and the most trusted return for their for Bitcoin.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to DM you some of my ideas and what we've been working on separately on this. That might be helpful.
And I'm excited to hear about the BTCB strategy that we can collaborate on for
yeah, for
Binance.
sure. We'll have 2 different specs by tomorrow, so I'll share that.
Awesome.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Thanks, Anna.
I think we got Michael here too.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Pretty good. I just got 2 quick questions today. So as far as like the Binance smart chain integrations, looking at other protocols around the space, I know it's still pretty young, but there's stuff that's got the blessing of Curve, like Ellipsis and their REN BTC that they plan on bridging over. When the team look at set strategies, how does that work as far as coming into a new space and seeing that it's still pretty young? Does the team look at the project that they're trying to integrate? Do they look at the long-term health of that project too? Because I know they're airdropping V curve holders for the next year, so I'm not sure about their tokenomics and if that project's going to be sustainable long term, but it's something to think about there. And also, I'm not sure if the team keeps up with listing and what people says about Badger, but I know Tiki in Palm Beach had a good write up on it and listed one of his 6 coins to watch. So I just wanted to see what everybody thought about that.
Yeah, I'll speak to the Binance stuff because it's top of mind, right? Like we launched on Binance a few weeks ago. We had almost 15 or 16 million dollars, mostly of BBadger and BDIG, that was bridged from Ethereum to Binance specifically for putting in our vaults. But what we haven't seen is a lot of the BTCB that lives on Binance deposited into our vaults. And we've spent quite a bit of time to understand why that's been the case. And you know, it's a different landscape over there, to which there's a lot of new projects launching. It reminds me of the DeFi summer of last year, right? Where these APYs are extremely inflated by the rewards of the potential new protocol releases. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening that not a lot of there's a lot of spammy stuff that's being launched as well, which just in general, takes attraction and takes interest away from other protocols. So what we've been focused on is two things. One, there isn't really a powerful and the most popular BTCB vault on Binance Smart Chain yet, like a single asset vault. So that's actually what we were talking to Anna about right before she left. We're looking to collaborate with different protocols to develop, a unique strategy that you can deposit your BTCB on Binance Smart Chain, and our vaults will look for the best and most optimal returns. Some in new farms that pop up that would require, our internal team to review their code base, have contact with their team, just go through kind of the basic security parameters, check for audits, all that type of stuff. And then we would activate the ability for that BTCB to farm those specific protocols. And an example of that is Ellipsis, and we've been talking to their team, and that potentially could be one of the first protocols that we integrate with this new BTCB single asset vault on Binance Smart Chain. And then the second side to that is, okay, when users deposit in the vaults, what else can be a differentiator if we're constantly dealing with 5 million % APY from other protocols? And what we're attempting to do is bring utility to those vault positions. So imagine you have the ability to deposit into our vaults, like the 3 vaults today, the BTCB and B Badger Pancake Swap LP vault. When you deposit there, you get a token back that represents your vault position, similar to B Badger. But this is just living in your wallet. So we're going to be turning that on as collateral on a few of the key money markets on Binance Smart Chain. So again, you can then use that vault position to open up your ability to further participate in DeFi on Binance. And we believe that to be a key differentiator for our vaults over some of the other vaults that live on Binance Smart Chain, especially a lot of the new farms that are launched. So that's our strategy there. And it ties into kind of your question around Ellipsis. And then your other question, we tend to keep our heads down and focus on building versus this, listening to some of the noise in the market as it relates to what people, speculate on the token and the price and all that type of stuff. It's good to hear that people, see long-term upside in what we're focused on building. But that's really the extent of it.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool that you mentioned that, because I actually put something in the form the other day about ellipsis. So that's pretty neat to.
So that was a little choppy. I couldn't catch a question.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I said I actually put something on the forum the other day about ellipsis, so that's something pretty cool to see, because it looked like probably one of the better opportunities on the BSC side. So that's pretty.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. Did you have a specific question, or just wanted to share?
Oh no, everything that Chris was saying was basically like my proposal on the forum the other day was to partner with the team to get a set vault for the RAM BTC pair that they was planning to have shortly on Ellipsis.
Yeah.
And then again, to the point of driving cohesiveness across our products, as we look to evolve the bridge, the next, sensible thing to do is enable people to go right from Bitcoin into our vaults on ETH or on Binance Smart Chain. And they can pick and choose which direction they want to go. So that's something that we're going to be working towards as well, and kind of just ties into some of our efforts there.
Yeah, actually, Michael, I saw your forum post before. Actually, you posted it in the bib section. I moved it to general because it doesn't follow the format of bibs. So if you want, you can ping me on Discord. I'll send you a link to. I actually just a couple weeks ago I drafted up how bibs should be formatted because we were receiving so many bib submissions that were not in the right format. So if you want, you can reformat how you posted your thread, and if it follows the format, we can post it to the BIP section.
Oh, sure, yeah, I appreciate that. I'll hit you up on the Discord.
Sounds good.
Awesome, guys. I don't think we have anybody else coming up unless we can open it up for one last sweep, see if anybody wants to come have a chat. I think Johnny Fiat's been trying to come up, but can't seem to bring him up. I'm not sure if it's just a poor connection or something.
Yeah, I see that too. I'm not sure. I've tried inviting him up as well, but it doesn't bring him up.
Yeah, sorry, Johnny.
Yeah, maybe Johnny, if you want to exit the room and come back in, we can give it a shot. But otherwise, I think we might be good to wrap this up.
For sure. Yeah, I think we'll wrap it, guys. Chris, you good?
Yeah, this is awesome. I always love doing these and talking with everybody. It's a blast, and I'm super pumped for what we have coming up. I think it's gonna be fun scene 2, as I call it, for the Badgers.
I love it.
For sure, guys. Awesome.
Alrighty.
Well, thanks everybody for coming out, and we'll see you guys all next week. Have a great weekend.
Yep. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks again. Bye.
Ciao.